Boom, shakalaka boom. You've tuned in to the free-range human show of choice, your daily dose of reality radio. This is the Clay Edwards Show. I'm, of course, Clay Edwards. I am live here on 103.9 FM WYAB. I think I may have already said that. Streaming worldwide at WYAB.com, as well as the TuneIn app and Alexa. Just search WYAB. And, of course, I am, flying solo this morning. I am streaming in stunning 4K video on the Save JXN Facebook, YouTube, X, and Rumble accounts. Just search Save JXN on all those platforms, and it should pop up. On Rumble, you may actually have to search Clay Edwards Show, but I believe Save Jackson will get you there too. It's kind of weird how Rumble is. I set up a Save JXN as the master channel, and then I guess you can set up channels within the channel. And I may have put one for Clay Edwards. I set up one for Kim Wade. I don't use it. Need to start uploading his show there, at least in the audio-only version. Need to start using these cameras and streaming Kim's show is what we need to do. But we put a lot on Cliff, his producer. I don't know if a video producer is something else he wants to take on. But maybe if y'all needle him enough, he will agree to do it. And that way we can get Kim Wade, Radio Strongman, coming at you in stunning 4K video. I don't know if Kim would survive on YouTube or Facebook. I just don't think that a strong, independent, conservative black man is built for. I don't think his content's built for their community guidelines over there. They still frown upon some of the things that Kim talks about. You know, they censor strong, independent, conservative black men over on YouTube and Facebook. They can't have y'all know that a couple of them got off the reservation, or is it the plantation, whatever it is. They don't like that. Then white liberal overlords, they frown upon those things over there. They want you to think that all black folks are a monolith and move together. And there are no such things as black conservatives. Those are psyops. Those are CIA operatives. They're not real. Anyway, Kim talks a lot about the vaccines and COVID still every now and then, and they frown upon that at the end of the day. So I don't know how long his accounts would survive on YouTube and Facebook, but Rumble is where it needs to be. We need to get Kim Wade to stream live on Rumble. I've been seriously considering adding a third hour on Wednesday, Thursday, and Fridays, internet only, and possibly doing it exclusively on Rumble and trying to build that platform up. I believe it's the platform of the future. Some of the biggest streamers in all of conservative media have moved their live shows from YouTube. I mean, these are some of the biggest YouTubers in that space have moved their shows to exclusively to Rumble, starting here in a couple of days. Tim Pool, Steven Crowder, Jeremy with the quartering. There was a Russell Brand, who I think has already moved to Rumble. There's one or two others that I can't think off the top of my head. Dan Bongino was already over there, but his show, they had his last episode the other day because he took that job as the assistant director of the FBI. So y'all make sure you download the Rumble app and make sure you subscribe to me there. It's gotten a lot easier to use. A new update on it's great. You can pick up where you left off on videos, something you previously couldn't do, and all that good stuff. I think we're definitely going to consider doing a third hour on Rumble when there's not a show in here, when there's not a live show in here after my show. Maybe it'd be internet exclusive, uncensored, maybe some special guest, something. And considering making it a membership thing too. So just thinking about it. I like to kind of give y'all my ideas out there kind of as they float through my head. Other ways to try to make a little change doing this, but making it worth your while too, for people who are interested in it. With that said, the Guns and Gear text line, 769-241-1944. I need to cut the notifications on for that. The Mazda of Jackson phone line. Guys, got anything you want to get off your chest this morning? 601-879-0002. I saw imagine this. I saw online where some people are, wait for it, mad at you, boy. Because I had the audacity to ride the tornadoes out Saturday, eating crawfish and drinking cold beer, hanging out with my friends and family, having a good old time over at Cypress Point there inside Cameron's garage for what ended up being their biggest day ever, biggest day and night ever out there. So I wasn't the only person who said, if I'm going out doing what I love, being with friends and family, eating crawfish and drinking cold beer. That's right. But yeah, somebody had the audacity to say something about that to me. I saw it in the comments last night. That's why I don't read my comments. What am I supposed to do? Sit home, hunker down, be scared? I mean, man, nothing takes more innocent lives than a Jackson thug randomly shooting at a gas station than tornadoes. I mean, they're just neck and neck. Two things you can't control. The bullets coming out of a Jackson thug's gun while you're innocently pumping gas, or your kids sitting in the backseat of their car innocently playing their little games and get shot, and tornadoes falling out of the sky. My house is no more well built to survive that than that bar was. So that's what I chose to do, and had a good time doing it, mind you. Had a good time doing it. Ate some good old crawfish. A lot of other people had the same idea. Other than the tornadoes, I thought it was a rather nice weekend. I didn't run across any rain Friday. It may rain. I guess it rained overnight. Slept good Friday night. Slept good Saturday night. I got turned on to that Yellowstone spinoff, 1923, over the weekend. I binged watched a few episodes Friday night. Friday night. Binged watched a few episodes. Did a few more yesterday. Really good show. I was talking with Kingfish about it earlier, yesterday. Kingfish said, I got the phone. 1923 is coming on. I said, yeah, I've been getting caught up on it. He said, it's good, but Taylor Sheridan, the guy that writes it, he did Yellowstone and all that. He has to put these damn dumb blonde bimbos in every show. I was like, you talking about Beth? And I told him I like Landman. And, he did Landman also. And he's like, the two blondes in it, they're just, I was like, yeah, but, they fit. I watched both shows with a female. And the female's favorite character in both shows was Beth and Ollie Lauder in Landman. Those characters, they're very authentic. If you know women, like I know women, Beth is very authentic, very realistic, as unrealistic as it sounds. We all know crazy women. And she checks off a lot of those boxes. And then Ollie Lauder, Billy Bob Thornton's wife in Landman, she's a bit eccentric, but I promise, not rare. Not rare. They got her turned up from like 10 to 11, for entertainment purposes. But trust me when I tell you, oilfield trash, hot blonde, ain't never had to work because she married a guy with a little bit of money or at least good enough credit. Have y'all ridden through Reunion lately? You been to Reunion? You been through some of these neighborhoods? A lot of these women. And look, this ain't no knock either, by the way. I like these kind of women. I like eccentric, loud, over the top. Anyway, those women are put in those shows. While they are pretty, they're not there for the men. They're there for the women to have a character to be appealing towards them. And it works. They're the number one shows on TV. With as many women, if not more women watching than men. Because I can assure you, women ain't tuning in to Landman for Billy Bob Thornton's sexy butt. Billy Bob may be a lot of things. A sex icon ain't one of them. So anyhow, 1923 is good, and he hasn't so far. I'm about 6 episodes into season 1. There's not a Beth type character. There's not a crazy one yet. So I'm enjoying 1923. Let's see here, see if we got any text in this morning. I'm burning just a little bit of time here till we get to the maybe the third segment. We got the sheriff. We got the sheriff of Smith County calling in, Joel Houston. Now, we're going to talk about a couple things with Joel. The tornadoes that tore through Smith County. First off, let me wind back a bit. Condolences and prayers to the victims of the tornadoes this weekend. We were blessed that they dodged us, but when they dodge us, they hit somebody else. And that's just a sad fact of life that they didn't dodge everybody. We lost 6 fellow Mississippians, dozens more injured, hundreds displaced. And we're going to talk, and the bulk of that was up there in Taylorsville and Smith County. So we're going to talk to Sheriff Joel Houston about that. And also, while I got him on the phone, there was a disgusting post that I stumbled across on Facebook after the tornadoes. And I screenshot it because what I've learned to do is when these people make these disgusting posts, when we make them famous, they'll delete the post because they ain't built like Clay Edwards. They can't take the heat. So I screenshot it and I put it out there for the world to see. And it is absolutely disgusting. And it involves Taylorsville, Mississippi. It involves Sheriff Joel Houston. And it involves a fella who came up dead by the name of Rasheem Carter. And I'm going to tell you about this post on the other side of the break here and kind of set you up for our interview with Joel Houston, who's going to be calling in at 7:30. Coming in at hour 2, the aforementioned Kingfish with Jackson Jambalaya is going to call in. We're going to talk about all things Jackson for a little bit. A bill just passed the Senate over the weekend or Friday, here in the last couple of days. That is a new law that puts some real teeth in it for for law enforcement and prosecutors to enforce this squatter nonsense and try to get these squatters up and out of here. And the squatter stuff is way deeper than y'all think. It ain't just people picking a house and taking it over. There's fake realtors leasing houses to squatters, all kind of wild stuff going on. And the laws here in Mississippi, like some other states, are so lax, people couldn't do anything about it. I mean, blow my mind. You let Clay Edwards accidentally walk into a house or on some private property. Boy, they have my ass arrested so quick I wouldn't be able to see straight. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Jackson mayoral race. I've been staying away from it. I haven't talked about it a lot. My boy Sean's knee deep in it. He don't like Zach Service. He's letting it be known. Sean has let it be known that Zach is in his line of sight. Not literally, figuratively. And he's decided that he's made it his mission to make sure Zach doesn't get 1,000 votes. And we'll talk about some of these candidates, who's got a real chance, who's in there for other reasons, and more. And also, yesterday was a national holiday. We didn't get to celebrate it on Sunday. We're going to celebrate it today. It was 316 Day. It was the birth of the Fafov movement as well yesterday. And how convenient that they fall on the same day. Oh, hell yeah. Austin 316 says, I just whooped your candy butt. I think that and the birth of the FAFO championship, the FAFO Godfather, his day being the same day is oh so sweet. We're going to tell you about that and more when we come back. Don't go anywhere. This is the Clay Edwards Show coming at you live this morning, Monday, March 17th. I'm in the studio. This is not a pre-recorded show. We'll be right back. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show here live on WYAB, streaming worldwide, WYAB.com, and in stunning 4K video at SaveJXN on Facebook, X, YouTube, Rumble. And I forgot to say we are on TikTok this morning as well. How long that lasts, who knows? Be sure to swing by the merch shop at buyfafo.com. Get your green shirt ordered. I'm putting the order in today so everybody will have them by Saturday for the big parade. That's your green FAFO limited edition special design shirt just for Saturday. I'm printing a few extra. Make sure you secure yours. Pre-orders will take priority. You can go see the shirt at buyfafo.com. If you're watching online, I'm pulling it up on the screen now. There's the back of it with the big FAF and a clover leaf as the O. And then you got a smaller version of that logo on the front. And then on the sleeve, it's got a commemorative date. It says the 2025 Howell's St. Patty's Day Parade. Great looking shirt. I wore mine this weekend, and it got a lot of attention. Actually, I wore last year's this weekend, but I sold the last few I had to the staff there at Cypress Point. So all the security was wearing the FAFO green shirts. So very popular. Probably could have sold another 100 of them this weekend if I'd had extra ones. Get yours. Secure yours today and have it by Saturday. This is your last chance. Buyfafo.com. Also, man, I said I was going to give a fella a shout out the other day that was able to circumvent the rules a little bit and get me and my lady friend a drink when the bar was closed during that event we went to at the Jackson Country Club, the top 50 of Mississippi, because he was a member of the Jackson Country Club, and I appreciate that. So I want to give a special shout out to Jake Clark. I couldn't remember his last name the other day, and I'm a man of my word. So Jake, I appreciate the cold beer and the glass of wine, my friend. And Jake is with New Realty. Y'all let Jake know that he needs to advertise on the Clay Edwards Show. We're always looking for the official realtor of the Clay Edwards Show. Jake, that could in fact be you, my friend. All right, real quick, one more thing, a little bit of business here. I went by Huey Magoo's after I left here Friday. I had right about 11 o'clock, 11:30 by the time I got back to Rankin County. I went to the location right there at the Outlets of Mississippi. Man, I get all these malls confused. The Outlets of Mississippi. And man, oh man, I got the grilled chicken strips. I see, and I had them before, but it's been a while. Now I see why they call it the filet mignon of chicken. The pictures don't do it justice. I mean, at the end of the day, you put a picture of a chicken strip, it's a chicken strip. Anywhere can make them look pretty when they take the picture, spray a little olive oil on them and stuff, make them look juicy. Man, these things are so good. I'm telling you, I was talking to Jameson about it too. If you're out there, you're trying to lose a little weight, and look, I ate French fries and I got all the dips and the bread with it. This wasn't necessarily a trying to cut corners on calories or anything. I just like grilled chicken. And if that's what you're trying to accomplish, swing by Huey Magoo's. Check them out. They got two great locations. Of course, they got grilled and fried chicken strips, sandwiches, salads, and more. Huey Magoo's, the filet mignon and chicken, two great locations to serve you. Right there, right off Highway 80 on Bass Pro Drive at the outlets of Mississippi, and on Highway 25, a.k.a. Lakeland Drive, right up there near Castle Woods. That's Huey Magoo's. Let's take a call on the Mazda Jackson phone line this morning and see who we got. Hey, good morning. You're on there.
Good morning. This is Joel Houston, Sheriff in Smith County.
Hey, Joe. Guy came in. Oh, yes, you're right on time. I was a little behind. Joe, hang on one second, bro. Let me get this set up real quick here. Guys, we got Joel Houston, the Sheriff of Smith County. I told y'all that we were going to have him on the air just a little bit earlier. We're going to talk about some of the tornado cleanup there. And we're also going to talk about some of this Rasheem Carter stuff that's been going around. And we're going to get the sheriff's side of the story on what's going on up there with all that. There's been a lot of online rigmarole and false claims, in my opinion, about Rasheem Carter, his death, his disappearance, and all of that. Some people calling it a lynching and all kind of other crazy stuff that just frankly does not happen in 2024, 2025, or whenever the heck it was. Just disgusting stuff. Sheriff, let's prioritize a little bit here. Thank you for calling in this morning. I know y'all got a lot of stuff going on up there. And,
yes, sir.
And B, let's start with the tornadoes. How's the damage? How's the recovery stuff going? How are people up there doing?
The recovery's going really well. You know, a little over 24 hours, they have restored all of the power to the houses that were not completely destroyed. There was anywhere from 40 to 50 houses that were damaged, and I would say 5 to 10 that were completely destroyed. But what amazes me is we had 0 injuries. I obviously I didn't get to talk to every tornado victim, but I mean, I never even heard of anyone as far as having a scratch on them. And the amount of damage that was sustained, it's unbelievable.
Oh.
But the community's doing good. They're in good spirits. Everybody's out helping one another. Power company, Mississippi Power, they've been great. They worked around the clock trying to get everything back going, and I didn't leave until it was going.
Sheriff, is there anything my listeners can help do? Is there any immediate needs that people have up
keep
there?
Everybody in the prayers. The local churches have been outstanding, providing food for everyone. They brought grills and smokers down the night of and yesterday, cooking food and keeping the community fed, the workers fed. They've been real good. It's been a blessing. We just keep them in your prayers, and that's all I can ask for right now.
Any donations for the churches? Any water, clothes, food, non-perishable stuff? I mean, anything off the top of your head? Is there a point of contact? I probably should have asked you all this before we got on the air, but I'm just thinking about it in live time here. We got a group that's always ready to help, so I just figured take advantage of it while we got their ears.
They can contact our county EMA office, emergency management office, or the sheriff's office at 601-782-4531 if they wish to give any type of contribution.
782-4531?
Right, yes.
All right, I'll write that. I'll make sure I get that number back out.
Okay. At this current time, I'm not aware of any current needs. We have contacted the Red Cross. They're supposed to be on the way to help.
Good.
So I can get back with you as far as what needs are out there.
Well, yeah, we'll take it. We'll keep our folks posted. You know, I know it's just 24 hours, a little more than 24 hours after the devastation. It's hard to even know what you do or don't need or could need or would need or should need. So just know that we're here and we'll help any way we can with getting that across and helping you guys. Anyhow, if it's boots on ground, if it's whatever, we'll definitely put the word out there. All right. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for all you do, Sheriff. Thank you for all the law enforcement and first responders up there, medical, linemen, police, the whole 9 yards, doing what they do. And I think it's in times like these where people realize that those utility workers are first responders in their own rights too, as they do what they do. So shout out to all of our linemen as well. You guys don't get the appreciation y'all deserve, but we're going to make sure you get it here on the Clay Edwards Show. Sheriff, so you may or may not be aware. I told people, so let me set it up here. There was a Facebook post after the tornadoes Saturday that every now and then, I've got pretty thick skin when it comes to the internet, but every now and then I see something that just gobsmacks me, that I can't be like, wow, somebody said that. And for those not familiar, and I'm trying to get the post pulled up here on the screen for our folks watching on the internet, but a fellow by the name of Markwell Bridges made a post after the tornadoes, and I had to save it. They read this, and this is on Facebook. It said, "I do not feel sorry for Taylorsville. I feel sorry for Rasheem Carter. Send another tornado. Lord, they ain't learned yet." And for you guys that aren't familiar with who Rasheem Carter is, he's a young black male that came up missing and eventually found dead out on some property there in Smith County. And all the BLMers of the world and stuff are convinced that this was an old-style Southern lynching, and this fellow was killed and left for dead up there, or whatever it was. They've been protesting and all this other stuff. And the other side of this story has not been gotten out there well, or they refuse to listen to or look at the facts of that. And that's the reason I got the sheriff on the phone this morning, was after this post was made, and I shared it. And I was like, man, this is just absolutely disgusting. So I was able to get in touch with the sheriff over the weekend, and he volunteered to come on here and kind of give the facts as he knows them of this case. So I wanted to set that up for you all that aren't familiar. Now, Sheriff Houston, the mic is yours, my friend.
Okay. So October 2nd, which is a Saturday, Rasheem Carter was in Taylorsville, basically on foot, walking around the two guys that he was working with. They were his ride back and forth from Laurel every day to a job site in Taylorsville. And Friday night, October 1st, Friday morning when they showed up to work, they showed up late and appeared to be hungover. So the boss man turned them around, told them to go home, come back the next day ready to work. Saturday morning, they showed up to work, same scenario. Late for work, appeared to be hungover, so he sent them home for good. The two guys that he was with left him in town, which was about 2 or 3 miles from the job site, and the other two guys went on their way back to Laurel to the hotel they were staying in. Mr. Carter stayed behind. We're not really sure why. At some point that day, he went to one of the gas stations and went to a dollar store in the town, because we have that on surveillance video. And then he went to the police department later that afternoon, let them know that he was waiting for a ride to go from Taylorsville to Lawrence County or to Laurel. Not Lawrence County, Jefferson County, which is a good 2.5 hours from Smith County. Laurel's about a 30 to 45 minute ride. But he met with a couple of officers at the police department in Taylorsville. They're not taxis, so they couldn't take him to Laurel, but they offered him a phone. He had a phone. At one point, he showed back up and said he needed a phone charger. They asked him if he wanted to come inside. I mean, the weather was good in the daytime. It got pretty cool at night. I think it got down in the 40s at night. But, he was not under arrest. Couldn't make him stay. He was just trying to get back to Laurel or either Jefferson County, where he was from. So, during the night, he left. The next morning, we do know that he went to the gas station again from around 10:40 that morning, and that was the last he was seen on surveillance camera. So that was October 3rd.
So
his mother contacted Laurel Police Department and reported him missing. Now, I don't know if that was the next day or that day. I believe it was that Sunday. That's the Sunday that we last saw him on surveillance camera. He was in perfectly good health. He wasn't, according to the surveillance cameras, he wasn't looking over his shoulder left or right. He didn't appear to be paranoid. He wasn't limping or anything like that. I mean, he appeared to be healthy, appeared to be normal, just shopping like any other customer. Like I said, the mother called in to Laurel PD, reported him missing. We found out about it a few days later when they realized that he was last seen in Smith County, and then we immediately started working the investigation. So we subpoenaed cell phone towers, did search warrants for cell phone towers, trying to locate him, because we really had no idea where to start searching. We didn't know if he'd be in the woods or at a building, or somebody picked him up and gave him a ride. I mean, we had absolutely no clue. We checked while we're waiting on all the returns for this information to give us a starting point. I mean, we rode the edges of the roadways, checked under bridges, and the whole 9 yards. Toward the end of the month of October, actually it was October 29th, I believe, one of the citizens that lived just outside the town has a game camera that he's got set up on a food plot across the highway from his house. It's in a pine thicket, timber thicket, and
about how far off the road? 100
100 yards, 150 yards.
So not too far.
And it's a trail coming from the main highway. It's a trail you can drive your truck all the way to. But it wasn't a game camera that sends it, to a cell phone. It's one that you got to swap the card and bring it back and read it on your computer or whatnot. So when he brought it back to his house, he looked through and found a picture of a guy walking across the food plot. And obviously that's not normal, so he turned it into authorities. When we got a hold of the picture, I'd never laid eyes on Mr. Carter. The picture wasn't the best in the world as far as being able to identify him. It appeared to be him, but just to confirm, we knew his mother, who we had already been in contact with, would be able to confirm if that was him or not. So we let the mom see the picture, we sent it to her, and she said, yes, absolutely, that's my son. So
Sheriff,
that gave us a starting.
Sheriff, can you do one more segment with me? I got to take a break real quick.
Go ahead.
We'll be back in 4 minutes. We got Sheriff Joel Houston, Smith County on. We're talking about Rasheem Carter disappearance and the fallout thereafter. We'll be right back in 4 minutes with the sheriff. Sheriff, don't go anywhere. Listeners, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. To the Clay Edwards Show. Let's go right back to the Mazda Jackson phone line with Sheriff Joel Houston, Smith County. Picking up where we left off there. Sheriff, thanks for staying on hold. Kind of picking up where you left off, they found the trail cam. Y'all discovered the trail cam footage, and you called the mom to verify that was him on the trail cam. And let's pick back up there.
Okay. Yeah, so we called the mom. I sent her a picture of the picture from the trail cam, and she verified, she confirmed that was absolutely her son. So that gave us a starting point, basically where to start looking, because we've waited 30 days, 28 days trying to find a starting point to start looking. The search warrant for the cell phone gave us the last known location, which was at the gas station that Sunday morning, giving us the surveillance footage that we had from the gas station. So between 11 o'clock that afternoon and 4 o'clock, or 11 o'clock that morning and 4 o'clock that afternoon, we have no clue where he was. The game camera confirmed at 4 o'clock that afternoon he had walked by it. So me and my guys, my deputies, started searching the woods, combing the woods. We combed up 3 or 4 days with no results. I reached out to a lady that has cadaver dogs from Columbus, Mississippi. She brought them down. She brought 2 dogs down, and within about 4 hours, we were able to find some of the remains of Mr. Carter, what we believe to be Mr. Carter. We were able to find the blue jeans that he was wearing. And the reason we know it was his blue jeans is because it had his driver's license in his pocket, along with several credit cards, gift cards, phone charger, keys, and even had some cash money in there. So at that point, we taped off the scene and started collecting any and all evidence that could be located. We used the cadaver dogs throughout the property in that immediate area to search for more evidence. I mean, we could not have done this without the dogs.
Sure.
It's late October, the leaves are falling. Everything was really difficult to find, even with the dogs there. But the condition of the remains that were found were decomposed. Everything was collected and bagged, put in boxes, and transported to the crime lab to be evaluated and hopefully determine what took place. An autopsy cannot be performed due to how decomposed it was. I've been in contact with her mom the whole time, giving her an update of what's going on, where we're at with it, what we're doing. And she'd been pretty easy to work with. The next step, and when we found the remains, I contacted the sheriff in Jefferson County, where this family's from, and let him know what's going on, because I know if I had a family in my county that was experiencing a missing son or missing anybody, that's how I'd want to be treated. So I contacted the sheriff and let him know, hey, we have discovered Mr. Carter's remains. Do you want to let the mom know, or do you want me to reach out to her? How do you want to handle this? So he reached out to her, let her know, and then called me back and said, look, we would really like to come see where he was located, where he was found, hopefully give her some closure. And, you know, I wasn't all for it, but if I was a parent in her shoes, I'd want to do the same thing. So they came the next day, and we showed them. We parked in the woods, showed her where the trail camera was, walked her through to the area where we located everything, and she was very understanding. Still a lot of unanswered questions as far as, you know, what made him go to this particular location, and what caused the death.
Yeah, Sheriff, I got it. We're bumping up against another. We're going to have to expedite this just a little bit. We've got about a minute left here. So the mother and the people who have gotten behind her and got her rallied up, and, you know, so to say, they're suggesting that there was foul play at hand, and that the police department dropped the ball or is covering for somebody, and the evidence clearly doesn't show what they're saying it says. This has been moved up to what, the FBI or something like that, correct?
Yeah, so MBI has been involved since about day 4 of our investigation. FBI was contacted and sent our entire case file every time we collected new evidence from, I'd say, day 7. It even got sent to one of the supervisors in Washington, D.C. to look at. So they have our entire case file.
In your opinion, if you're willing to give that, do you suspect any foul play? Or my personal opinion is, it feels like the guy may have gotten in the bottle a little bit and kind of wandered off and passed out in the woods. Maybe he was scared to tell his mom he got fired from his job or something like that. He was procrastinating. I mean, I've been down that road where I've gotten fired and I didn't want to tell my mama I got fired from a job and didn't want to go home, so I pretended I was still at work. A multitude of things, but I just knowing Mississippi like I know it, I just can't fathom the story that they're pushing is what happened. It just feels like he passed out in the woods and maybe got, you know, attacked by an animal, something of that nature, or, you know, some kind of, I'm not suggesting this happened. I'm just saying maybe possibly an overdose of some sort, even that. But the lynching stuff, I don't believe that on any level.
Right. So early on, you know, he did report to his mom that there was 3 white guys in a white truck chasing him. A week later, it was 3 white guys and 5 different white trucks chasing him. And watching the surveillance footage from the dollar stores and the gas stations, we found no evidence of any white vehicles being in or around the area during his time of presence at these convenience stores. But in facts, I'm not going to give opinion, but the facts that we have do not suggest any type of foul play.
Sheriff, that's all I needed to hear right there, brother. I wish we didn't have these commercial breaks to contend with here in such an important story. But look, I appreciate you taking the time this morning to reach out and to touch base on this with me, because I didn't want to just talk about this without having somebody of your stature to back up my thoughts. Look, prayers for Smith County. I'll be back in touch. Maybe we can do this again when we can maybe not have the commercial breaks and we can sit down uninterrupted. But look, man, we're keeping y'all in our prayers. We're keeping Smith County in our prayers. Let us know if we can do anything for you. I really appreciate you taking the time this morning.
Thank you, Clay. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. We'll be right back. Guys, I hated to cut that short, but it, literally the system kicks me out at a certain time. It's called a hard break, and it takes it up against up against the last hour there, up against the top of the hour. So we're not even coming back from commercial break. We were in commercial break till 7 minutes after the hour. because I had to run over multiple times to get that interview in. He got really in the weeds there with the details, which is a good thing because I think it's important in a conversation like this. But Stephen, I can't answer any of the questions, man. It was kind of hard to keep up. But this guy did not get killed. This guy was not murdered by anybody. None of this stuff that they're saying happened. This is another case of a black guy that passed away. The body was decomposed, and because it was in rural Mississippi, you know, the race baiting, racist for a living, BLMer types of the world can't ever accept that bad things happen. You know, I'm trying to be respectful of Rasheem Carter, because he didn't ask, for these people to be talking about him. He's a dead guy. We don't even know how he died. Some type of natural causes, or it wasn't murder. He wasn't lynched. None of the evidence suggests that that's what happened. The sheriff just told y'all, and he was chief of police at the time, that there were none of the surveillance footage shows anything to do with black trucks chasing him. It wasn't 5 people in one black truck. It wasn't 5 people in 5 different black trucks. I mean, that's some crap out of a Hollywood movie. That's like Mississippi Burning type stuff. And that's why it sounds like that. That doesn't happen. Random black people don't get chased through the streets of cities. Now, you want to go in Jackson, Mississippi, random people get chased through the streets of cities. Again, if y'all put as much effort into keeping your own neighborhoods and cities straight as y'all try to rural towns in Mississippi, you'd be much better off. You'd be much better off if y'all's efforts and energies were pointed at your own neighborhoods in places like Jackson. But one guy comes up dead with no evidence to suggest that there was any foul play, and you're all suddenly crime scene experts. CSI, BLM. You're on the scene. We know y'all got it figured out. The BLM division of CSI. So much I want to say. But again, I want to be respectful to the dead. And it just feels like somebody done got the mom piped up, trying to convince her that something happened that didn't, so that she probably file some kind of lawsuit or something. And it just ain't going to work out the way they want it to. We have enough sample size of situations like this to always know which side's in the wrong and which side is in the right. The same people that are convinced that this guy was killed by a modern day Klan chasing him through Taylorsville in the broad daylight are the same people who think that black people get shot for no reason on random traffic stops. Are the same people who think that young guy, that 18-year-old man, I ain't going to call him a kid, that 18-year-old man that shot that cop first in Flowood was provoked. It just didn't happen like that. Quit making excuses and have some dang accountability. People are fed up with this crap. And for this person, the sick person here, Markwell Bridges, to make a post talking about send more tornadoes to Taylorsville. It's disgusting. Bobster70 on YouTube says, have they done a DNA to make sure it's him? With those texts to his mother, it sounds like he could be setting up a fake death. Well, I mean, she said it was him on the camera. I mean, you had to go through a lot to still provide a body there. I'm going to guess it's him. I mean, he had his genes, his driver's license. I mean, he would have had to have killed somebody else to set up his death. And I don't know that this guy was important enough to need to set up a fake death. I mean, just to be honest, and most of us aren't. Maybe he had something to hide, but there appears to be nothing coming out that he was wanted in connection with anything. Doesn't appear to be any reason to be to set up his own death. I'm guessing there wasn't no insurance money, no real insurance money. He just lost his job. You know, what it feels like to me is he's probably embarrassed that he lost his job for showing up drunk 2 days in a row. And didn't want his mama to know, so he kind of stayed wandering around. You know, so asked the police to give him a ride. It ain't their job to give you a ride. They're not a taxi service. Their insurance doesn't provide that, by the way. I mean, there's all kind of rules about that. They're not taxi services. Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, but I don't think, I'm just going to be honest here. I'm guessing this guy wasn't smart enough to figure out how to figure out a fake death. I think he figured out the death part, but it wasn't fake. Anyway, appreciate the sheriff taking the time this morning. I just find this stuff disgusting. These same people, could you imagine if Jackson got hit by a tornado and Clay Edwards said, hit it again. We need more tornadoes for what they've done to Jackson. They'd be outside this radio station right now with pitchforks and tiki torches trying to run me out of town. A racist incident when it just wasn't. And what that does is that puts untold amounts of real lives in danger. You know, now somebody black rolling through Taylorsville, they get pulled over. They think it's a free pass to act an ass with law enforcement. Oh, you're going to kill me? You know, same thing that gets so many of them killed out on the roads today when they get into these situations with cops. They freak out and they go into this fight or flight mode and think that because they're black and pulled over, that somehow death is the next thing if they don't do something drastic. And that's when death ends up becoming the next thing. Like, I don't know, shooting a cop. All right, I got to shut up. We're getting ready to come back from the break. Boom goes the dynamite. It's hour 2 of the most incendiary show on the RADIO. Streaming worldwide at WYAB.com and in stunning 4K video on the Save JXN Facebook, X, YouTube, Rumble, and TikTok. And, of course, we are pumping across the airwaves here on the Big Stick, 103.9 FM, WYAB. This segment brought to you by our friends over at... How about my friends at Mazda of Jackson? Guys, today is the last day of their off-site sales event, March Madness sales event. They're located right over there by the aforementioned Huey Magoo's. Man, talk about kill two birds with one stone. Swing by Mazda of Jackson's off-site March Madness sales event right there at the outlets of Mississippi. It ends today. And while you're there, grab some Huey Magoo's. You're going to work up an appetite walking around looking at all those near 200 new Mazdas and quality pre-owned vehicles. They're making some great deals, crazy deals, some would even say. Oh, how do you sell them so cheap, Mazda Jackson? I don't know. You just got to go find out. They got interest rates as low as 0.9% on all their vehicles. And all the new Mazdas come with a limited lifetime powertrain warranty. You can't beat that. Go see Chris Carr and his team today right down there at Mazda of Jackson at their off-site sales event located at the outlets of Mississippi on Bass Pro Drive. You can't miss it. You pull in and boom, it's right there on your right. You'll see the big white tent and all the vehicles lined up there available for purchase today. Check them out online, MazdaofJackson.com. Speaking of Mazda of Jackson, this next interview is on the Mazda Jackson phone line and brought to you by Mazda of Jackson. We got the one, the only, Mr. Kingfish with JacksonJambalaya.com on the phone. Good morning, Kingfish.
Morning. What are you yapping about now?
Oh, man, just setting these folks straight, the black fro living race baiters on the Rasheem Carter thing. Why
are you doing that? When I get off the phone, I'm going to go wash my eyes out with acid because, folks, if you want some entertainment, just go look at Strong York Turin's Facebook page. And I'm not going to say any names, but he and a certain mayoral candidate are going at it big time, and it's gotten nasty. I mean, past nasty. I mean, they're like the two guys in Star Trek that fought for 50,000 years. They just won't let it go.
Oh, is it like the chicken and Peter Griffin?
I mean, no, remember that where the guy was like, his face was like half black, half white, and the other guy's face was the same, but the colors were reversed, different sides, and they were like chasing each other for like 50,000 years. And I mean, that's what these guys are coming across like. It's like, I mean, Sean's just after him, but that guy's going to defend himself, and then Malcolm Johnson jumps in. I mean, it's some great entertainment. I mean, I don't recommend you stick your comment on it so you don't get sued or anything, but it's great entertainment.
So you said that's on Sean Yurkaron's page?
Yeah, you and I were talking about it yesterday.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yep, I was just clearing it up for the audience.
They're still going at it.
Good. I caught up on a little bit of it last night. I enjoy other people's online drama.
There's more.
Good. What do you think, man? You think you agree with Sean? You think Zach is a plant?
I'll
say
all I know is some allegations were made about that particular candidate, and if you're going to make those kind of allegations, you better be able to back them up. And Sean's not the one who made those allegations; somebody else is, but you better be able to back it up.
Yeah. I'm not gonna reference those allegations.
They're the reason I'm being very careful on the air.
Yeah, I'm not
putting myself there. I'm just saying it's great entertainment if you want to go watch.
Sure, I'm not going to reference the allegations. They're very extreme. But Malcolm Johnson is not afraid to.
Just like Malcolm. Well, Malcolm's his Facebook live stream last Thursday night. I mean, he took on a local, let's just say, Facebook personality, and boy, he went in raw. I mean, he didn't pull any punches. I mean, it was like just one shot after another. It was like, wow. I mean, you got to love there's one thing. Elections and divorces bring out the worst in people. You ever notice that?
Yeah, I have. As a matter of fact,
they really do.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll get to this squatter thing in a second. While we're talking about the mayoral stuff, what's the temperature in the room? What are you feeling, man? Is it going to be a runoff between Horn and Chokwe?
I don't think there'll be a runoff. I mean, everybody's saying, well, we got so many candidates. All right, now step back and think for a second. We have a Democrat primary and a general election. A lot of these guys like Kim Wade, they're running in general election. When you look at the Democrat primary, you got two guys running, Chokwe and John Horn. And we don't know how much these guys are raising money, because how much money they've raised, because the campaign finance reports aren't due till the 25th. The first ones aren't. And you and I both know if it goes like last time, they're not going to turn him in on time. Chokwe didn't turn his in until like a few days for the general election, actually. I mean, he didn't do anything during the primary. I mean, he just ignored pretty much every deadline. And if I was a candidate, I would ignore it too, because if we're not going to hold people accountable, and the legislature killed every damn bill that would have fixed this problem this year, they tabled every one of them, because let's be honest, the legislature is not interested in good government. I don't care what they say when they come on your show. They're not interested in good government, period. Do you have your initiative and referendum back? No, you don't. How many years has it been now?
4.
Exactly.
5.
3 or 4, yeah. I mean, so anyway, back to this. But you got to assume Horn and Chokwe are the two front runners money-wise. They're the ones raising the money. You have Marcus Wallace. You have some other Democrats. I mean, but I'm not seeing anybody. Socrates, I'm not seeing anybody that's getting, I'd say, more than 1, 2, 3% of the votes. I mean, the last time, when you had a runoff back in, 14, when Tony Yarber beat Chokwe, remember, you had a runoff, but you also had Melvin Priester, who came from a known family. He was on the city council. He ran a strong race that came in like 17%. I don't see anybody like that running this time who's a really strong third candidate. I just don't see it. I don't think Marcus Wallace is. I don't think Socrates is. If Socrates will spend the money, yeah, he could be, but I don't see him doing that.
Yeah, I don't see him self-financing this thing. I mean, he's got the money to do it. I told you that. I mean, we talked about this yesterday.
But he's also not a stupid businessman either, and he's not going to blow his fortune on a campaign run that chances are he would not win. He's just not going to do that. I don't blame the guy.
No, me either. But I am curious. I mean, why poke your nose in it if you ain't in it to win it?
Some people want the attention. Some people want to be able to say they ran. Some people have a point to make. Some people want to run. then you have some, like sometimes you'll have in races, you'll have what's called rabbits, where they set the pace to wear out the competition, so your real guy can win. And some of these guys, I think they're plants, they're attack dogs. And when you watch these forums where they're allowed to question each other, I mean, all of a sudden you can start seeing who's going after who. It's kind of interesting, kind of funny how hardly anybody's attacking the mare, but they sure are attacking Horn. But I got a feeling we're not going to have a runoff. I mean, remember, Chalkway, first time he ran, we had all these guys on the race. He avoided a runoff then, too. So he's going to have his ground game, his People's Republic Assembly, whatever.
So you think it's Chalkway?
I don't know. Right now, I don't know. I'm hearing different things. I mean, I don't know. I mean, John's doing better than I thought he would in the forums and the debates. Chalkway, his ads are better than it was the last couple of times he ran. He's running a better media campaign. I mean, I think people are sick of all the mess in Jackson. They already started like on Facebook last week about basically blaming all the white Republicans for everything. I mean, that's it. I mean, it's great when you pull the race card like that. You don't have to take responsibility for anything. You don't have to admit to anything. You don't have to fix a problem. You can just let it go in the crapper and then just blame Whitey. And that's what his crowd's doing. And the question is, how many people are going to buy it?
Well, a lot of those guilt-ridden white folks over there in the whitest neighborhood in the state of Mississippi, Belhaven, they buy it. That's for sure. I mean, they're guilty.
Not as much as you think.
Their guilt is strong.
You'd be amazed that. Look, ignore next door, okay? Just ignore next door. That's about 20 people, 20 loudmouths, okay? I mean, believe me, a lot of these people, white liberals in Fondren and Belhaven, they want this guy gone. I'm talking proud Democrats. I'm talking people I know personally. And, I mean, I hear it over and over. I mean, this guy has united Democrats, Republicans in ways I haven't seen before. He really has. I'm telling you, you're saying the white liberals, yeah, on social issues and all that stuff, yeah. But when it comes to him, you'd be amazed how many of them want him gone, period.
Yeah, I still think that they don't have the nuts to do it when they walk in the booth. But that's just my opinion.
Well, you don't have. I mean, just go look at the voting precincts the last two elections. I mean, they've been voting against him.
As they should. What I want to see, we talked again, you and I talked about this last night. What I want to see is the businesses that come out and scratch a check for Chalkway.
Well,
on these campaign finance reports.
When he finally files a campaign contribution.
I want to see
campaign finance report.
Other than Terry Lovelace, I want to see who thinks things are going good enough around here to scratch a check to Chalkway again.
Well, don't read too much into some of that, because some of these guys are like developers and contractors. I mean, if you want to get your permits through, you don't want them held up, guess what? I mean, there's another mayor in the Jackson area, I won't name any names, that has an insurance license, and if you want your permits to go real fast, you better go buy some insurance. You get my point?
Well, tell us who it is.
No.
I mean, if he owns an insurance company, it's public information.
No. I'm not doing it, okay? Not doing it.
Tell me who it is off air, and I'll tell them.
Ha-ha. No, I won't.
Well, I guess we can just find out which local mayor owns an insurance company.
Or has a license.
Well, that's disgusting.
That's really where you look. But no, seriously, I mean, if you're a developer, I mean, you're looking at, I got to get this project done, and I got to get permits, I got to get zoning, and all that kind of stuff. And you don't play ball with City Hall. Guess what? They're not going to play ball with you. Period.
Kingfish.
So just remember, there's some of that in there too.
Should we team up and host our own mayoral face-off?
What do you mean?
Like Clay and Kingfish host one of these events like they did. Maybe we do it somewhere.
Well, it's kind of we could do it for the general. I mean, we could. I mean, I don't know how many candidates would participate, because they know they're going to get real questions. That's the problem.
Well, I think,
and if I do it, I'm going to also be allowed to ask anything and also do follow-ups.
Amen. Again, well, I think what it does is,
and they're not. I think they're going to these safe forums. They're not allowed to challenge each other, or it's kept kind of nice. I mean, they're not getting asked real questions or tough questions.
Sometimes it's about who doesn't show up that is the most important thing, because then it shows everybody who's scared of real questions.
The people that you're trying to reach are the ones who aren't going to care about that. Just saying.
I don't know.
No, I think we're kind of in a dead heat right now. I mean, just all the vibe that I'm seeing out there. Warren's actually running a more aggressive campaign than he did last 2 times. He's giving better talks. I mean, he's doing better in the debates. Knocking it out the park? No, he's not. Is he doing better? Absolutely. I mean, Chalkway, I mean, he's coming off, I mean, as snipey. I'm hearing that from other people. This is not my take. You know, that watch this stuff. They're black, and they're saying he's coming off petulant, like a spoiled brat. How dare you criticize anything on my record? You know, blah blah blah. Last person I saw do that was Harvey Johnson when he when he was an incumbent and got beat last time. And I mean, when he was on these forums and everybody was criticizing stuff in Jackson, he threw a tantrum literally. I mean, and he lost. He got his butt kicked. I mean, and I'm seeing some of that out of Chalkway right now. I mean, he does not like scrutiny. He does not like being questioned. If you ever notice, whenever he's questioned or challenged on something, he raises his voice. He gets angry. He starts, insulting the other side. He starts going after him personally. I mean, that's what he does not like to be challenged on anything, period. And unfortunately, hardly anyone ever does.
Well, true enough. But, we've had this conversation before, and I've told people this privately about you. A, you're my friend in real life, but B, one of the reasons I consider you a close friend and I like keeping you around, is because you will do just that. You do not tell me the things I want to hear. You tell me the things I need to hear. And so few people will do that. And that's why my real close circle of friends is more like a period than it is a circle, because I will only keep people around me that I trust to tell me the things I need to hear, not just the things I want to hear. Kingfish, let's take a break real quick, come back, and let's get into this squatter bill.
Okay.
All right, we got Kingfish, Jackson, Jambalaya on the Mazda Jackson phone line. We're going to take a break real quick. Y'all got any questions for Kingfish? Shoot them in the comments on the live stream or shoot me a text on the Guns and Gear text line at 769-241-1944. 769-241-1944. We'll be right back on WYAB. Welcome back in live to the Clay Edwards Show on WYAB. Real quick, this segment brought to you by our friends over at B3 Catering. That's right, Burgers, Blues, Barbecue does catering. It's called B3 Catering. Guys, it's so much more than just chicken wings, burgers, and barbecue. They can do it all. From 5 to 5,000 people, they got you covered. Heck, how about something simple? Why don't you feed business owners, managers? Consider getting breakfast catered in one morning this week for your sales staff or your office staff. They got you covered. Here's some of the great breakfast options that you can get any day. How about the B3 Sunrise Wraps, the honey butter chicken biscuits, the chicken and waffles, hash brown bowls, grits bowls, or the B3 breakfast buffet style. That's right, man. Let them come in and set up a little breakfast buffet for you. Maybe some biscuits and gravy, a little bacon, some sausage. Come on down, young son. Shut up and take my money. Sounds oh so good. They've got other blue plate specials they can do. And if you can design it, you can dream it, they can provide it. They got it all. Check out their website, burgersblues.com, and click the catering tab. burgersblues.com. Click the catering tab for more fixed menu items. And, of course, if you can dream it, they can cater it. Holler at my friend Taylor over there at Burgers Blues Barbecue Catering. You can text her today at 601-706-2060 or call 601-706-2060. Let's go back to the Mazda Jackson phone line. We got Kingfish with JacksonJambalaya.com on the phone with us. Kingfish, you there?
Yeah, you talking about food. I'm still stuffed from that Bravo pizza I had Saturday. I'll tell you, those are some of the most underrated pizzas in the Jackson area. Really are.
Well, I mean, maybe, but it ain't the Manships wood-fired pizzas. It ain't Acme pizza.
Have you tried them?
Yeah, I've had a pizza from there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't say it wasn't good.
I'll have to try the Manships.
Yeah, half price at happy hour.
Cheapskate.
All right, so it's just still daylight down there. also, let's talk about the squatters law. So the Senate passed a law. It should not have any problems coming back and passing the House. They made a couple little amendments. They don't seem to be any issues. It should overwhelmingly pass. It's co-signed on or sponsored by some of my favorite people over there in the House. And Kingfish, you got a local example of this law, of why this law needs to be in place. Tell people a little bit about what's going on here.
Well, okay. Squatters bill, first of all, it does two, not just squatters, it does two things. One, because squatters, problem is it's been popping up. It's a problem that's getting worse nationwide because the laws are usually they have figured out the laws are lenient and they can't just use law enforcement. They have to go through the eviction process. It means you have to get lawyers. It costs money, and they know it. I mean, so they'll just take over a property and you're screwed. And if you call the police, throw them out, like happened in Georgia once, the police throw you out. I mean, so you've had several states. Louisiana passed unanimously, Florida, Georgia, even New York, where a lot of it was happening. New York finally just said enough's enough and passed a law last year, cracking down on it. So what this law does is it gives law enforcement the power to actually come in there and do something. And it's not just, you say, well, yeah, but I live in Jackson, JPD won't do anything. Okay, the bill foresaw that and says whatever law enforcement agency has jurisdiction over that area can go in there and do something about it. So, you know what? JPD doesn't want to do anything? Not a problem. You can go to Sheriff Tyree Jones, and believe me, I've talked to him several times about this bill. He's very happy to get it because it gives them more power to do something about it. But it not just handles squatters, and this is what really is going on Old Canton Road, but you've also got these phony realtors. And what they do is, what Sheriff Jones told me was they will scour the land rolls. They'll figure out which properties have out-of-state, out-of-country owners. They'll go scope them. And if they see one's been vacant for a while, they'll check out the property, and they'll sit there, turn around, take some pictures, go online to these, Facebook, Craigslist, Marketplace, Craigslist, these rental websites, say, hey, you want to move in this property, blah, blah, blah. You have to be a realtor to do this, okay? And so you say, hey, I got this property for rent, great deal. And so, there's this one on Old Canton Road, and I'm not going to give the address, but if you drive on Old Canton Road between Green Oak Nursery and St. Phillips, you can't miss it. You can't miss it. Believe me, it'll be so obvious which one it is. And at first, it was thought they were squatters, or as it turned out, the owner lives in Belgium. He's going through the eviction process right now to get everybody out, and it's basically these hood rats that's no other way to say they're living there. But they're not squatting. It turned out someone else checked out the property, figured out, it still had water service even because, it being Jackson, of course they don't turn off the water. So he turns around. The property should be rented. It's a 4-bedroom. Should be rented out for about $1,500-$1,600 a month in that area. All right, nice size land too. Lot. They're paying like $700 a month to rent the place. They're paying the rent, but you got this guy who's not the realtor or management company for the property taking the cash for it. So I figure by now he's taking close to $7,000. We're not talking misdemeanor amounts here, okay? So he's basically taking this away from the landlord. Landlord is over, and we're working with him. He's been sick. He's in Belgium. But I hooked him up with an attorney. They've sent out the letters. They're going through the process. A resolution's coming probably next 60, 90 days. But that's all the hoops you have to go through. So this bill also handles that, which is these bogus realtors that go around. They're scam artists is what they are. And those guys, whereas if you're a squatter, it's a misdemeanor, these guys are facing a felony.
As they should.
Yeah.
There should be. It should be some federal stuff because I imagine there's some wire transfers going on with the money for deposits and all kind of stuff.
Maybe. But you're not going to get the feds in on this. Unless it's large scale. They're just not. They're not going to fool with it. But it's a much needed bill. You're seeing this more and more. If you get on Nextdoor, you'll see people complaining about vagrants and bums and homeless and druggies taking over vacant houses and squatting in them and stuff. And they can't get them out of there. This is going. Now, the landlord still has to file a complaint, but this allows the police to go in there and actually do something about it.
It's about damn time.
Yeah, it really is. And and you're also, it's going to get worse. I mean, like I said, it's like California is really crazy about it. Like, the problem is some of these states, like after 30 days, if you can say that property 30 days, you all of a sudden have rights. And
insanity.
Yeah, and that's why that was the problem in New York, and that's why New York it got so bad. They just said, even New York said, enough's enough. We're cracking down on this. I mean, Florida, Georgia. I mean, and the cops take it seriously. I mean, they don't want this stuff. Makes policing a lot harder because, I mean, you get these people they're going to cause problems. They're going to commit crimes, and this is a home base they can operate out of. The police want them gone too, so they like having the power to go do something. What's funny though is some of these people are raising Cain, saying, "Well, what about trespass?" It's not a trespass. Trespass, I'm walking across your property. I won't leave your property. Okay. This is a taking. You are keeping me from using my property. You're denying me. You took it from me. You are denying me the use of it. I can't come in the house or anything. It's my house. And yet you took it from me. And, just like, carjacking and shoplifting are different forms of what? Robbery. Different degrees. Well, guess what? This is a different degree of the same thing, of a property violation. Just one involves, I don't have permission to be there on the premises and I won't leave. And the other one is, I'm denying you the use of your property, period. Does that make sense?
Yep. It does.
I mean,
it doesn't make sense, but it makes sense. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, but, Shonda Yates, she's been the spearhead on this bill, and she's got the co-sponsors, Gene Newman, Jill Ford, Brent Powell, so,
Fred
yeah,
Shanks.
But she's been the one she's been the one carrying the water on this thing. The rest of them just, they just signed on to get their names on it. But she's been the one doing the legwork. She's been going to the committees over in the Senate, speaking out on it. She's been working everybody. She got a panhandling bill through last week that's going to the governor. And this one, they took out some minor language that won't affect the bill itself. And has to go back to the House, and they're going to approve it. Then it'll go to the governor. So we're about to give law enforcement one more tool, and Capitol Police should be able to enforce it also.
Well, I'm glad that Shonda's on this because this is gonna get to where it starts really affecting her area.
It already is.
Yeah, I know. It's one thing. I know everybody kind of has this mentality. Well, it's just South Jackson. It's just West Jackson. Let it. It is what it is. But it's starting to creep over onto the east side of 55. And
it's happened over in Fondren and Belhaven.
Yeah. And when it starts creeping across the interstate, it's like,
they had a problem over on Council Circle, I think it was, where a bunch of them took over a house, and that was vacant.
It's like,
keep in mind, they're moving a vacant house, yeah, but they, like these guys I told you about, they were able to go in there, set up their own water account, get utilities, Xfinity, the whole 9 yards. So. It's not like they're living with no power, no heat, no air.
This ain't a shot at Shonda or anybody else, but I do want to say this: it's a damn shame that it has to start affecting white folks in their areas too before something finally gets done about it. But that's a shot at the Jackson the Jackson legislators who haven't done anything till now.
Well,
thank you, Shonda.
Walter Michelle had a bill in I think it was Walter Michelle had a bill in the Senate, and John Horn, John, what were you thinking?
Yeah,
but he got some language stuck on there about Fair Housing Act stuff, how the state could prosecute it. It's already prosecuted by the feds. Okay.
Where's John Horn? Where's David Blunt? Where's some of these other guys that should have already done this?
Shonda, here's the thing about Shonda. She and David Blunt, they represent their districts definitely overlap. Okay. They have a lot of the same precincts, a lot. And she tries to get a lot of bills passed that her constituents want. Okay, she's doing them every year, and a lot of these bills, she doesn't mind if she ticks off the mayor of Jackson. Oh, friggin' well, like with her recall bill. She doesn't care. The water district bill. David, on the other hand, does not do these kind of things. No, because he's so scared of ticking off certain minority groups and he's a Democrat, but so was Shonda, so they ran her out. But David just, some of these bills he could have done for years and never did. But Shonda, if you go to her with a complaint, it makes sense. She'll try to do something about it.
All right.
What you call a good politician.
Yeah, no, I'm a fan. I don't agree with her on everything, but 90% of the time I'm a fan. That's a really good batting average for me with a politician around here. She's actually getting stuff done that positively affects her constituents, and I can support
like I said,
that.
she was a Democrat.
Yeah, and
she was a Democrat.
She ain't pandering to the minority groups like so many others do around here.
Well, but what she's doing is paying attention to what her constituents want.
Exactly.
That's the key.
Exactly. She ain't going by the Democrat national agenda. All right, Kingfish, JacksonJambalaya.com. Thanks for taking the time this morning, brother.
Appreciate it. Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right, when we come back, the FAFO godfather, Gary Plaschke. We're going to talk about him when we come back. It was the birth of FAFO. This is the Clay Edwards Show. We'll be right back. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show, here live on WYAB, 103.9 FM. Good show so far today. Always enjoy shows like this. You get to talk to some people, see what's going on in the big world out there. This segment brought to you by our friends over at, how about our friends at Men's Health in Mississippi? Guys, go get your testosterone levels checked. It ain't hard. It ain't hard. We're doing free testosterone screenings right now at Men's Health of Mississippi. You already know. Text Clay to 601-327-8550. Text Clay to 601-327-8550. If you're suffering from fatigue, decreased muscle tone, lack of energy, low libido, brain fog, sleep disturbances, even obesity, it could be because you are suffering from low testosterone. It all starts with a free screening today from Men's Health in Mississippi. Text Clay to 601-327-8550. And, hey, if you're considering Ozempic, don't use compounded semaglutide. It is a generic. It can save you thousands of dollars a month by choosing the generic over the name brand. They got it here locally at Men's Health in Mississippi at their New Care Clinic located inside the same building. Just text weight loss to that same number, 601-327-8550. All right. Today, or it was actually yesterday, is a national holiday. It's Gary Plaschke Day. I know I probably butcher the proper saying of his name. If you're watching online now, you see the image. It's one of the most famous images ever. You can Google or YouTube up the video somehow or another that YouTube will allow certain homicides to be viewed on their platforms and not others, but hey, thankfully, this is in fact one of them. It was a mercy killing of sorts. He killed a pedo before the pedo had to go to prison and deal with a life of agony for what he did to that man's young child. Let's see here. I think I've got a better picture of we'll call him Scary Gary. I'll just pull it up here real quick. Let's see here. Here's a close-up picture. If you're watching on the online, if you're not, just boom shakalaka. The man, the myth, the legend. I may be this dude for Halloween this year. I don't know. I may just be him, period. But he is the godfather of the FAFO movement. Happened 39 years ago. Yesterday, at the Baton Rouge airport, Gary Plaschke caught the man. He was being extradited back to Louisiana for kidnapping his son. He was the son's karate instructor down there in Baton Rouge, or in the Baton Rouge area. Anyway, his young child, he had the story's a little deeper than what I'm getting into, but long story short, he kidnapped his son. He sexually abused him. He was on the run, so to say. And Gary happened to be sitting at the airport talking to a reporter about it, and the reporter found out that they had got him. This is in the pre-internet days here, and found out they were going to be flying him back in to the Baton Rouge airport there to extradite him back to Louisiana to face the charges. Well, Gary decides to go post up at a payphone, and I think the story goes he's on the phone with his wife or something like that, and says, "I'm sorry for what I'm about to do." And the news crew are filming the incident. They end up filming the incident. It's live on the news. They're filming, or they're live showing the guy being walked in. Gary turns around as they're walking by the payphone, puts the gun up to the guy's head, and pow! F around, found out, grand champion, the first one crowned in the modern era anyway. It was a beautiful, beautiful day. There was a book written about it called Why Gary Why? The Jody Platschke story. I believe Jody was the son. Now, in typical pedophile groomer fashion, the son at the time was upset with his father for killing the bad guy, the pedo, because he had been groomed by this pedo to love him. I mean, it's just sick and disgusting is what it is. And it was on this day, yesterday in history, that our first modern era FAFO champ was crowned. You know, Gary had to go. Fortunately, the courts saw it our way. I think Gary had to go to a halfway house for a few months, and then he lived out the rest of his life. He died of old age, I think, a couple years back. I tried to interview the son last year, talked to his sister and everything, and just couldn't quite get it all together. You know, I don't know how comfortable he is doing media nowadays and kind of rehashing and telling the story. I think they're perfectly content with his father's legacy being what it is as the godfather of the FAFO movement. You know, and I just think that we all as parents would like to think that if something like that happened to one of our children, that we would do the same thing and not think twice about it. And hopefully the judges would see it our way. Hopefully the district attorneys, the grand juries would see it our way. This is a community improvement killing. The community is better off without pedos in it. Somebody in the comment here is saying, can we talk about the illegals in our school system? John, there's illegals in our school system. And hopefully we'll all be rid of those illegals in our school system. You know, I don't know exactly, and I'm not, please don't think I'm being condescending or anything here. Not trying to sound rude by no means. Yes, it's a problem, and they shouldn't be allowed in our schools. You shouldn't be able to come into this country illegally and send your kids to school here. No. I think not. You absolutely should not be able to come here and send your kids to our schools. Didn't mean to do that. So yeah, hell to the no. Hell to the no. You shouldn't be able to come here and do that. I don't agree with that at all. All right, guys. We got to take our last break, come back, land the plane for the day. We got some breaking news real quick. Breaking news sounder. Dun, 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 dun. The Godfather, the current FAFO Godfather, Donald J. Trump, has just declared that Biden's pardons will be voided because they were signed with an auto pen. That means Hunter Biden, Fauci, Mark Milley, the J6 committee, Benny Boom Boom Thompson, you about to go to jail and get a little boom boom on the back end yourself, punk. And, of course, Joe Biden's brother. All of their pardons are being declared void. So much winning. Oh, it tastes so good. Yum, yum, yum. Winning tastes good. It even tastes better with a side of salty, liberal tears. We'll be right back to land the plane for the day. This, my friends, is the Clay Edwards Show. I'm going to stay on with you guys on the internet here for a second. Trying to clear this off the screen is what I'm trying to do. Get back to my regular screen here. There we go. All right, guys, been a fun show today. I want to read Trump's truth that he sent out about this real quick, because I want to make sure I put this in a video. It says the pardons that Sleepy Joe Biden gave to the unselect committee of political thugs and many others are hereby declared void, vacant, and of no further force or effect because of the fact that they were done by autopen. In other words, Joe Biden did not sign them. More importantly, he did not know anything about them. The necessary pardoning documents were not explained to or approved by Biden. He knew nothing about them, and the people that did may have committed a crime. Ruh-roh! Therefore, those on the unselect committee who destroyed and deleted all evidence obtained during the 2-year witch hunt of me and many other innocent people should fully understand that they are subject to investigation at the highest level. The fact is, they were probably responsible for the documents that were signed on their behalf without the knowledge or consent of the worst president in the history of our country, Crooked Joe Biden, Benny Boom Boom the Bitch Thompson. And Chokwe Lumumba could be sharing a cell together in federal prison. Oh, so sweet it is. Sweet Caroline. Da, da, da. I don't even know why I chose that song. It's just like the whitest people song ever. Oh, I love it. I love it. That's my president. You're right, Bobster70. That's my president. Nothing I love more than seeing a corrupt, evil politician get their comeuppance. It's like we're living in the greatest timeline ever. I'm so glad that they stole 2020 because now we get 2025, the revenge tour. And more will be accomplished on this revenge tour than could have ever been accomplished in the last 4 years. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. The thought of Benny going to prison, an investigation on Benny Thompson. Man, oh man. I wish I got to this earlier in the show, but I was a little late seeing it. And I'd already committed to some other stuff. But Chip Matthews is up next. Chip may be talking about it. I don't know. I will definitely start talking about this. I may do a live later when I get to the house as kind of as the news agencies and other reporters, and we kind of start figuring out more about this. Is it possible? Can they do this? Can Trump void this? I'd have been hearing about this auto pen thing for a little while now. I didn't know it was going to explode like it has. Miss Angela, Mike Magazine, thank you. Glad y'all listened to the show. Guys, I'll see y'all back here tomorrow, or I'll be back here online most likely later today. Y'all stay blessed.